Now we're going to break down my go-to ad product in TikTok Shop, which is referred to as GMV Max. GMV Max quite literally stands for maximizing GMV. Not the best title there, but I'm going to break down the different strategies here, how to get set up and running, and how, roughly speaking, this ad algorithm actually works. Perhaps my favorite thing about GMV Max is that it's accessible inside of the TikTok Shop Seller Center. We don't need to go to our ads manager for this. While we can, I prefer to access this inside of the Seller Center. So under the Marketing tab, we'll click on Shop Ads, and we'll click specifically inside GMV Max Ads. Now we're gonna have to blur out all the numbers here because this is sensitive information. However, I will show you this ROI number, and you can see over the last 6 months why I love GMV Max Ads so much. Now, this hasn't held for us necessarily at this number, but when we have everything dialed in correctly and it's our objective to actually scale through advertising, sometimes it's not for this account, they do incredibly well. Let's get into actually creating these GMV Max Ads. When we go to create a campaign for GMV Max Ads, the first thing you'll notice is there's not a whole lot here. The first selection worth noting is products. Do we want to promote all products in TikTok Shop and let it automate it for us? Or do we want to specifically go after certain products we want to do advertising for? My recommendation is to let it do so automatically. However, if you haven't had promos running, can't afford because of commission to run ads behind a certain item, I totally understand, in which case you're just going to flip this off, click add product, and add your specific products instead. Throughout this, you'll notice too, the more things you let the ad platform do on its own, generally speaking, the better it's going to be. Next, we get down to optimization goal. And as you'll see, currently only accessible here is optimizing for gross revenue. Now, I'm not complaining about that, but if for whatever reason you want to optimize for different events, those are things that can only happen in ad products like VSA and PSA. The next sections here are the two most important and should work simpatico with one another. The first is our product ROI target. The way this works is whatever target we set here is what the ads will spend up to the point in which they are not achieving that target. So say we set a target ROI of 5. If we set our budget to 1,000 as our daily advertising budget, then every single day it will spend up to that amount we have set as our total budget, so long as it is achieving that ROI target. Now, if you want to keep things simple here, you can go, and early on, I'd recommend going with what the platform actually recommends. So if it says 2 in terms of an ROI is good, great, we'll start there. If it's okay with that budget or suggests a higher budget, try to mix and match and get to what it recommends. You should do what is recommended for the testing stage. However, once you get into some real numbers here and some real strategies, you need to think very carefully about both of these numbers. As you get running in GMV Max Ads and as you actually get data, this is where you can really make a killing inside of it. For example, sometimes we'll set our ROI target to something like 15. And while it's way over what is recommended by the platform, maybe we're running a crazy test or a flash sale at the exact same time. Now, to counteract this, we might set our daily budget to something like $10,000. Now, I certainly don't expect us to achieve a 15x ROI on all $10,000, nor do I expect the platform to even spend that. But what's the rule of engagement here? It's going to spend up to that ROI target. So sometimes I can get it kicking for a few hours at that ROI target. It's really crushing. It'll spend maybe $2,500, but it'll do so hitting that ROI target or getting close to it. Gaming the numbers here is the best way to manipulate the algorithm and get the best both ad delivery and ROI. For now, I'm going to tone this back to what's recommended by the platform. In terms of the schedule, I always set it to run continuously, but if you want to set an end time, this is where you would do so. And finally, we'll click on Ad Creatives. Within Ad Creatives, you have one of two options here. You can do auto select, which is what we always recommend. You can also switch over to manual. If on auto select, what the platform will do is automatically load in all videos on the platform that have product tag. This is the case for affiliates and all of your different brand pages. Anyone that has authorized you to use that as an ad on the platform, this will potentially run in this ad set. If for whatever reason you want to switch to manually, totally understood there, and you'll have the option of all of that same content, but you'll have to go through and select it yourself. Earlier, when we chose to select either promoting all products or just specific products, again, this will be limited to the ad level. So if you selected only a handful of items, it will only be videos specifically promoting those products. As you can see within our ad display here, we have something like 45 pages worth of ads. I don't know what that puts our total at, maybe close to 500 different ads just inside of this ecosystem. Again, this is the type of volume that you need in order to be successful running ads here. I'm going to switch back to auto. Again, that's what I'd recommend. And from there, I can click publish and we'll be live. Once your GMV Max ads are flighted, all the analytics will be displayed on the centralized GMV Max ads page, where you can click between any of the two options here and see what it's generating from a revenue, ROI, cost, units sold, as well as your cost per order. You're going to want to closely track all of those metrics, and I wouldn't be afraid of updating your ROI target and budget once every 48 to 72 hours. Anything sooner in terms of updating is going to cause you more harm than good. So make sure whatever adjustments you make, you let it learn under those new protocols and let it sit for at least 2 to 3 days. Again, your budget and your bid here works directly in correlation with your ROI. So those are the two things I would track most. And based on what you're seeing from a results perspective, adjust accordingly. Get a ton of creatives, set your ROI target, let it auto select, and let GMV Max ads do their thing. The last thing I'll add here is that while these analytics are great, the tricky thing about GMV Max ads is we aren't able to see directly what are the ads specifically running that are actually contributing to sales here. This algorithm is quite literally a black box, so we're not 100% sure. But if you look under the video analytics tab in the seller center, you can roughly speaking triangulate which ads are doing well, because the attribution will also show up there. So while it won't show you that display in GMV Max ads, you can figure out which creatives are working best inside of GMV Max.